Hello everybody, I'm Mr. Saturday and I hope you are having a beautiful, wonderful day. My day is going fantastic, especially now that I get to record again and share everything that I've been doing. I am super excited about that. And what better way to start off than with a world tour episode for my beta 1.7.3 world? And just a little bit of background behind the world. This world has switched to several different computers thanks to one of my computers dying. And then I had to go onto my crappy laptop, and now it is on this computer. So it has been quite the journey. There's a few glitched out things. Some of the instances in Minecraft don't recognize that I've done stuff, and a whole bunch of other mess that I'm trying to configure and figure out. I am using the Optifine mod that also allows me to see my skin and go into third person like I'm doing now. I also use the Optifine to brighten up everything, so I have a better time seeing. I have a hard time seeing as it is, but not only for me, it's also for y'all, so it makes the video a little bit brighter for YouTube. Now we're going to go ahead and start off, and there is no other better place to start off than my spawn point. I put a little diamond here surrounded by obsidian to mark my spawn point. I think this is about where I spawned in the world, and this is the original camp to my spawn point as well. So these are the original two furnaces. That is my original crafting table and bed that I placed here before I had anything built, and I just decided to leave it here. Even the sand block from where I terraformed the beach a little bit, I left the sand block under the crafting table. I wanted to keep this here kind of as a memory of where everything started in this world. And I think like the next best progression, right, is the first project we worked on in this world, and that is my mining tower right here. So the mining tower, you could tell, is made out of some beginning resources other than the blue wool that came, from the mine shafts from what it's for. But I left everything else pretty much the same. So I don't want to change any builds in my world, right? So once it's built, it kind of gets left the way it is, whether it works or it doesn't look right or not. When I first started this world, I started with the intention that there was this big mountain right here, or this hill, it's kind of in the background, would be filled with random builds and build styles. So it's going to be like this big collage of everything. So if we go in here, everything is the same as I left it. We have a little entrance to the mine shaft down there that you can go through on minecart. And then up here was kind of like my first real house that I could stay in that wasn't outside in the rain and in the darkness and everything. There's still like food bits that I store up here, a couple of furnaces. I have my original diamond armor set, my original wooden pickaxe, and my original diamond pickaxe, the first ever. I think this chest over here is just random junk that I left. And then this down here, there's one more chest, and it's also filled with just some random junk. If we go to the bottom of the mine shaft, nothing has really changed since we started it, other than I have mined like crazy in it. So we come down here, and that goes on for, I think it's like 1,000 and something blocks, like 1,200. So this tunnel goes on a pretty good bit ways, and each one of these tunnels are anywhere in the 200s to 300s long. With the exception for a few of them, and I think that's on this wall, right? I think there's one or two of them on this wall where I ran into a big lava lake that was almost face level, and I just said nope and turned around. This portal is deactivated. This is our first nether portal. I'm going to have to reactivate it, but when I was building a project that we'll see later, I wanted to turn this one off to make sure the new one worked. So that one, I got to get a flint and steel to it at some point. Alright, so back at the top, we'll go to the next thing that we built. I'm going to try to do these in order. I might mess up the order a little bit, but I'm going to do my best. And our next project was this big green building right here that I ended up turning into the museum. So I wanted to collect everything that you can collect in beta survival for this version, and I think I did a pretty good job. There's still like a handful of items that I'm missing, and some things were a lot harder to get than others, and that brings me to this back wall right here. All of these had to be moved in here with a piston. We do not have silk touch in this version, The easiest one was this one. The hardest one, believe it or not, was the redstone. I left the diamond one towards the entrance of my mine shaft, so I had like an easier time pushing it. But without thinking about it, I ended up mining all the redstone in that area, so I had to go looking for more redstone so I can eventually move it. So that was a fun time. In these two chests right here, the small one is some of the other items that we are slowly collecting up. And I'm also going to fill this double chest. I might try to organize them by category later once I have everything, but I don't have everything at the moment. Back here is kind of like the first farm we built, and it works pretty good. It's our cactus farm. It's not like 100% efficient. Sometimes the cactus gets stuck on the fence post, which is fine. You know, it gives me more than enough cactus to do all the projects I do. And I do use a lot of green wool, just not on this build, but a lot of the terraforming we will see later. I do believe this room right here was added a little bit later. This is my storage room with all of my chests and everything that I use to build the builds that I've been doing. I am incredibly low on snow thanks to some of the projects, and I do have a to-do list of random things that I want to get done. So like mushroom farm, sugarcane farm. I do have a skelly farm, but the build around it's not done. I would like to have a really cool looking view tower at some point. That'd be awesome. A redstone testing lab where we can do fun redstone projects, probably get ourselves blown up. I want to build something in the sand area that I've been mining out of. There's just like this weird crater of missing sand and sandstone that I want to do something with. And I want to build like a really big railway. So I want to build the biggest railway I can in this world, and I think that would be pretty cool. Over out the back of this area, I guess it's the back or the side, depending on how you want to look at it. This is a oak tree farm. It used to be a tree farm and cactus farm where I punched the cactus out by hand. But once I built that cactus farm, it turned into just an oak tree farm. I thought about moving this guy with the other trees, but to be honest with you, I kind of like it here, and I don't know what else I would fill this space with once I did move it, because it would just be this big flat area. We do have the other trees over here. I have a big tree farm. It is not all the way built out. I want to build further that way and do some cool builds back here too. It is always my plan to completely fill this mountain all the way around and do all different kind of cool builds with it and stuff. If we go this way, we kind of have like a little bit of a walkway this way. We will run into the spider farm and squid farm. So we do have, I mean, there's no way to get down, but we'll just get down right here. So we have the squid farm, which is in this tan sandstone building, and we have the spider farm. The spider farm was built before the squid farm, I think, but the squid farm does not work. I think this guy produced maybe 2 or 3 squids since I've built it, and then like a couple of squids afterwards in separate days, but it just does not produce squids like I hoped it would. It's still a cool looking building. I don't want to tear it down or change it in any kind of way, because I still think it's neat, and it did take a long time to do all of that, even the water placing. Oh no, it's becoming nighttime. Good thing my spider farm is also a bedroom. So next we have the spider farm. I like to put little bedrooms in a lot of places. I forgot to show the bedroom off of the museum. We'll go back to it. But I like to put little bedrooms everywhere just because I like sleeping the nights away. I don't like the nights. And I'm about on the same level as B00 trying to skip all the weird stuff that happens at nights. I don't like the getting randomly blown up by a creeper and then having to fix it. It's kind of annoying. But you know, that's the charm of this game. If we go down here, we do have a spider farm that was designed by Mogster. I hope I said that right. So it's his little design right here. I like it. It works pretty good. If it ain't broke, no need to fix it, so I didn't change it any. And I put all the string that I collect in these chests. They're completely out. I used it for wool pretty much. It's all gone. Up here we have a little bit of a crafting area where I was mining the area out and like dumping the resources and some of the tools I had. Some of these chests are empty. I'm slowly taking it back to my storage room. Now we got to make the long climb back up. All right, now coming out of the spider farm, I did end up building this tugboat. I can't remember if I built the tugboat before or after the spider farm, but for some reason, this water was just blank to me. And I was like, you know what would be cool there? A little tugboat, like the toy ones that you used to see, where they were red and yellow and you buy them for your bathtub. They just kind of float around. So that's what I kind of loosely based it off of, and I think it looks pretty neat. It does have a good view of the base when you're standing in it. I think the next thing I built after that was this rail track that goes all the way to my desert. I won't ride that because the desert is just completely bland and full of craters, but it does go to my mining desert, and I built this train station to go with it. This train station is just a facade. All it does is hold on to my mine carts, and that is it. It's just a house that I came up with, purely for decoration. The next thing I did make was this castle that is my mob farm. So there is I believe it's a 5-layer mob farm in this really big tower in the center, and then all of these other towers are just kind of for decoration. The land around the bottom is completely custom. There was like a sliver of land there with a couple of oak trees on it, and I started building the castle out first and then had to go back and put some land so it wasn't floating. I get asked about the build palette a lot. Almost messed that up, but it is, let's see if we can zoom in with Optifine. It is cobblestone, then stone, then light gray wool, then white wool to snow, and that makes up the entire castle. And how I get down here at the moment, because I haven't built anything to really bridge it to any other landmass, is actually right here on the rail track. I have a little ladder. This tiny island before it's dedicated to Dave, the magical cheese wizard. He was my dog. He died to a creeper on 12/12/23. So he got blown up. I rebuilt the island a little bit, decorated it some, and then put his resting place here. So rest in peace, Dave. Then we have the custom island, so we can get a better look. We can get a little bit closer to this. I think I have this pretty figured out. I like the way it looks. You know, you have the dark green wool or the green wool as moss, and you can use soul sand as mud, and it kind of gives it like it's got that worn out look to the land a little bit. And then we have some custom rocks and bushes that kind of hide lighting to spawn proof the land itself for the mob farm that's inside. We go in here, we have the mob farm. It's dedicated to Dave. It's Dave's keep, and it says death to all creepers. The inside of it is kind of underwhelming. It kind of looks like a circus tent at the moment. I'm not done building the inside. I keep starting new projects, but the mob farm itself works. I constantly steal resources out of this, and what happens is they fall down, they get burnt a little bit, and then they drown. And if they don't drown, because some mobs like to swim out, they'll swim out and then just burn again. I could probably change this whole system to do better. I haven't messed with it to do that. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I have a thing like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, but you can get a good look at the mob farm up there. Some of it's covered up by the snow layers, but there is 5 layers of spawning platforms for mobs. They'll spawn, fall in different water streams, and then fall to the deaths here. This little staircase is just kind of like a back room at the moment. I do want to decorate the different levels of the castle and have some cool ways to explore in here, but I keep starting new projects, so we'll see what happens when I finally get to it. The next builds that we're going to check out is the lighthouse and the sand castle. I think it's called Sandy Keep or Windy Keep or something. I can't remember the name someone gave to it on Reddit. I'll have to, go back and look and put a sign. I forgot to put a sign on it. And over here we have an actual lighthouse that I've seen in real life. Me and my family, went on vacation and got to visit this one. So it looks kind of weird, but it's based off the real one. And this is the color scheme of the real one. And I thought it would be pretty neat to have it in my world. So there we go. There's not much going on the inside. Yeah, there we go. It's in Tabby Island. It's the lighthouse, and we built it 12/20/23. And I want to do a staircase that goes up, and maybe like a viewing platform on those last couple of windows. I think that would be pretty neat. I don't want to make the windows any bigger because the lighthouse windows themselves were kind of small, and I feel like that will throw off the whole build if it had slightly bigger windows. I guess I could have made the lighthouse a bit taller, and that would have evened it out, but even the lighthouse in real life is kind of short and stubby, which was also fascinating to look at. This castle up here has no purpose. I've been thinking about putting separate farms in here. So we have the bottom, which has a bed. I stayed in this castle for a little bit when I was building it, and I was building the lighthouse. So we have a couple of different platforms you can go on. You can walk over to this one and then go down its staircase and see everything down there, or you could go up here to its guard tower like you can on the other side and see everything through the guard tower. And it does have some pretty good views. I love what you can see from these towers. I'm thinking about making it into a mushroom farm. When I go to build a mushroom farm, I think I'm going to build it in one of these two towers. I'm just not too sure yet. So it will have a purpose one day. It is right there with the lighthouse on just not having a purpose, but it looks really neat. And I wanted my own version of a birch forest, so I started one. I still got to put the rest of the trees in, but I don't know how I'm going to blend my version of the dark oak trees with the birch. So once I figure that out and how to blend them up pretty good, we'll do that and have that done. I think, let's see, I built the church next. So this is the church to hell, which I think is kind of funny. And I wanted a wheat field. I was watching a lot of people's worlds, and they had like these really big, cool looking wheat fields. So I wanted to add a wheat field as well, and I wanted to decorate the edges up a little bit. This is still a work in progress, like most of my builds, unfortunately. But I think I could get it going. I think I could get something cool here. And every bit of this land has a fence post under it, so you could come through and jump on the wheat field and not mess it up, which took quite a while to do. And each one of these things that yellow wool that I used is a hay bale. I think it looks like a hay bale, but it's also hiding the water sources for the wheat field as well, so you're not accidentally falling in puddles of water. Now, if we make our way up to the church itself, we'll go right on in, and it's hell themed on the inside, which I think is pretty cool. It took a lot of my gray wool up, but I think it's neat. So it has this pathway kind of like you run into outside, and I went ahead and put like a little lava lake in here, get you really ready for the nether vibes, I think. And to me, this is really neat. I really like the way the inside of this came out. I thought about making it look like a regular church just with a nether portal in the background, but I got to thinking that was kind of boring. I wanted something cool here, and this is what I came up with. I think it looks pretty cool. The ceiling is what took the longest. I still got like a little bit of terraforming in the ceiling to make it not look so line based and to make it look more like the nether, kind of like I did on this side. But I just love the way this building came together. And don't get me wrong, the outside of the build is absolutely gorgeous too. I love the way this came together. I was trying to find a new way to blend in sandstone, and I think it was doing all right. I might play with stretching the sand out and the white wool out a little bit longer next time. And I didn't realize that until I was building the rest of the building that would actually look better. So this center tower is not stretched that great, which, I mean, it still looks fine. I did realize it kind of late though. I'm not going to tear it down. I'm going to let it be a constant reminder that when I go to blend, I need to stroke the blends out a little bit longer. This was my attempt at a dark oak tree. These are kind of cool. I was going to do them out of leaves, ended up passing up on that idea because leaves despawn like crazy and can cause lag in the world. So I just opted for the wool, and the wool looks pretty great. They look really, you know, it's like it has really dark leaves, and they look really cool from a distance. And I just realized my man-made pond over here spawns more squids in it than my squid farm, so that's kind of depressing. I will never build another farm again. Before I forget, I do have one more build that is actually back here. I recently found a skeleton spawner. I'm working on this one's tower, so it has a cool look like the spider farm does, but I do not have it complete yet. And I got to build one of these tunnels that go through the hill, which I think is pretty neat. I was just throwing some random blocks together to see what would look cool. And it's going to match the theme over here. I'm going to try to go for some kind of magical sand theme. I still got a little bit of work on the roofs and blending them pretty well. But I think for the structure itself, it has a unique shape. It's in a weird cross shape, and none of these outer bits that come off the main tower are the same height, which I think is cool. It's still something I'm really playing with and testing out. We have the inside. I still have to go up there and get rid of the dirt blocks and, you know, put a ceiling in this place. I might do a staircase in here, which could be pretty cool. Look out those top windows. I think that would be really neat. And if we go down here, the little tunnel is not as decorated as the spider farms yet. I will probably do the whole log theme again, but maybe birch, because it could be like, hey, this is the skeleton farm. It's also white. We have a little crafting station room right here. And if we go one more layer down, we have the kill chamber to the skeleton farm, which is pretty cool. I can AFK in here, get all the bones I need for all the stuff I do bones with, which is a lot. And I really like how this came out. I think this little room is neat. You know, instead of just leaving it bland stone or some kind of wood, I wanted to play with like different colored rooms and flooring and stuff. I just realized it'd probably be a good idea to put some more fake windows on the back of that castle. It is an excellent view of the back of the castle, and I love the way that looks with all the towers. But it's lacking some fake windows. I can't put real windows because it's got to stay dark for the mob farm. And to be honest with you, I don't know if any windows on this back tower would be a good idea, because it might actually go into some of the layers. The wall to the mob farm is made of snow, so you have floors and everything in it, and then the walls that are making it dark are the outside walls of the castle. So maybe adding windows wouldn't be a good idea, but it does look kind of bland in the back. Maybe I add another tower to break it up a little bit. That's probably what I'll do. I'll probably collect more snow, which my snow collecting area is like over there where you can kind of see that spruce tree and that crafting table. And what happens is it's a really small snow area, so I have to AFK while it's raining to let it snow, and then once the whole area fills up with snow, I go back and mine as much as I can to get the building. I just remembered I never went over what this building was, and it's actually not a separate building, but if we go into the museum just right here, I have a bedroom where I sleep, and it has a little water fountain display in it and some books that I can fake read, and I take a nap in here whenever I want to. It's pretty well lit. I like this little bedroom. You know, I get a good view of the tugboat and a kind of okay view of the castle. I get it better when I'm swimming, but the story behind this little area was I got tired of looking at the hill right here, because the hill used to come right up on this wood log. And I was like, you know, it's cool, but it's kind of like blocking the museum a little bit. I would want like a build here. So I went to go with a different build style and went kind of medieval fantasy look to it. And it does look kind of awkward here. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't blend to the museum or this beside it. But, you know, I kind of like it. It's different. You know, it's not all green. I was going to make bigger green sections, and this almost became a big green section, like a continuation of this style. And I can't tell if what I made was a good choice or not, because I did have more section of this mapped out, kind of like the cactus tower that has a dome on it. But I don't know, I kind of like it this way. I think it looks really good. I just want to thank y'all for joining me today and getting to do like this little world tour and, kind of explore what I've been doing. I didn't get to record most of this, like I said, because my main PC was down and my laptop that I was building the rest of this world in is pretty crappy. I couldn't get recording software to work on it for nothing. And I'm really glad that I get to share this with y'all in video form. I think it's really neat. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I do. I do want to get back to recording, maybe making an episode or two a week. And, I definitely want episodes of this world on there. So I'm glad I get to bring y'all along with that journey, even if it's just talking or going over some of the build ideas and stuff that I have, finishing old projects, starting new ones, more than likely starting new ones because I have a bad habit of that. Like I said, I just want to thank y'all, and I hope the rest of y'all's day goes wonderful. I'm probably just gonna put up a few like clips of the different builds from different angles so y'all can get a better look at them, and I hope you enjoy.